Hey there, are you my tour? Oh, perfect. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I got lost in a research project at the library and missed those first couple of calls from the visitor center's office. Sorry, again. I'm Monroe. Wait, are you that recanter that Loxley ran into at the coffee shop? No shit. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you decided to come by for a look. Let me take you around. You know, all of us TAs and junior administration staff have been wondering if you'd actually show up. We all know Loxley can be a little prickly. She's really super sweet, though, I swear. But you aren't here to listen to me talk about other people. So, this is the visitor center. Nothing worthy of note in there except some administration offices, really. The buildings to our right have been lovingly dubbed Healing Hallows. It's housing for select upperclassmen, mostly healing students pursuing advanced studies, hence the nickname. But occasionally, a handful of spots open up that are available on a lottery system for anyone in any advanced program. The waitlist for that is pretty extensive, though. And truthfully, most of our students live off campus anyway. The housing on campus isn't exactly plentiful to begin with, so they don't want to fight for a dorm spot. Plus, the out of town students get preference for those housing spaces, so a lot of locals just find it easier to continue living at home. Oh my god, no. Oh god. I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing at you, I promise. That's a completely valid question to ask, especially when you don't know. And I'm actually a little bit excited to get to actually talk about it. I'm a complete history buff, and it feels like nobody except my history professors wants to hear this stuff because everyone already knows it. Sarley is absolutely not the only city with magical people in the States. We are, however, one of the biggest. There are a total of 7 cities with a decently sized magical population. Those cities are called anchorages, and Anchorage is actually not one of them, which is a hilariously weird irony. We don't know. That seems to have been lost mostly to oral history. Magic's been around for centuries, after all, and finding written records of anything that old can be rare, let alone records for something most people don't even believe in. But the most commonly accepted assumption is that these cities sort of anchor the magic to this plane of reality. They're where magic has always seemed to kind of proliferate with almost unexplainable ease. To the left and sort of behind us now, sorry about that, is the Darren Cooley School of Healing Studies, neatly situated within convenient walking distance of Healing Hallows. It's where all the healing classes take place from introductory all the way through to the equivalent of doctoral. Mostly, it's just easier to divide them that way. Did Loxley explain much to you about how magic works? Wait, hold on. She said what? Oh, shit. Oh, you really must have rattled her. Oh, fuck, I would have paid good money to see that. She doesn't normally get things like that wrong. Don't ask her for any historical dates ever. Loxley and numbers don't get along. But she's actually. Oh god, she's actually the TA for the Intro to Theoretical Magics course. That stuff she knows in her sleep. It's practically tattooed on the inside of her eyelids. Oh god. Oh, then again, she may have been half asleep. She said you stole her coffee. Oh my god, that's amazing. Does she tell you anything about how magic works? Mm-hmm. That's it? She didn't... Never mind. I'd say I promised that was a bad first impression of her, but that's just Loxley. Okay, so recap. Wielders are elemental magic. Earth, air, water, fire, and unbound, who we'll come back to. Shapers are a little more ephemeral. Druids, healers, illusionists. If you're a wielder, when your magic manifests, you can use any of the elemental powers, and it's kind of a crapshoot what's going to manifest first and what order you'll get them in. Air manifested first for me. One minute I'm walking home with my older brother from the bus stop, arguing about something completely stupid. I think it was whether X-ray could actually see through lead, I think. Anyway, we're arguing 1 minute. And the next, this tornado of leaves is chasing him up the street toward our house. God, it was terrifying for a second, but really fun as soon as I figured out what had happened. God, some days I miss air magic. Anyway, as puberty progresses for a wielder, your true power begins to exhibit itself more and more, and you lose the ability to wield any other elemental power. Unless you're an unbound. They never lose that ability. Shapers are almost the complete opposite of us wielders. When their powers manifest, they can only use what's called their native ability. So druids can only use druidic magic. Healers can only heal, that sort of thing. Oh, over there is the gym and auditorium. Its formal name is the Madeline Mercer Gymnasium and Auditorium. So if anyone says to meet at the Mercer or at the that's the place. Yeah, actually. There's basic gym equipment, a pool, I think a couple of squash courts, a full-size basketball court. And that is the campus center. That's got the bookstore, one of 2 official cafeterias, the mail center, and a couple of meeting rooms on the ground floor. The basement has the student council offices and a full bowling alley. I shit you not. I remember when they decided to put the thing in. Weirdest choice they'd made in a while, but the student council was able to get the funds raised for it, so I guess enough people wanted it. That right there across the way is the Colin Gilbert Extradisciplinary Studies Building. Most of us call it the Guest Building, because Gilbert Extradisciplinary, GES. Anyway. Beyond their native abilities, wielders and shapers have a couple of unique talents, too. Wielders can teleport, or gate, within certain parameters. Shapers can learn how to cast wards, which are super complex, and tie into a handful of different defensive magics. That building right next to the Guess is the Elaine Rose School of Earth Magics. That's where I spend most of my time. At least when I'm not spending it at this glorious building here. This 4-story beauty of architecture is the Llewellyn Library. If you decide to come here, I imagine you'll get pretty familiar with it. Not a lot is known about recanters. You're so rare. I can't even imagine being in your shoes, walking into this and knowing nothing. It must seem really overwhelming. No, at puberty you either get your magic or you don't. Granted, puberty happens at different times for different people, and if either, or both, of your parents are magical, you know it's coming. But for everyone else, well, you're definitely ensconced in this community by the time you're in high school anyway. Well, we do have a few late bloomers. Oh, late bloomers. Oh, Loxley would hate that one. I'll have to remember to use it later. Anyway, late bloomers. Those are people who, have powers that are easier to write off, or miss altogether, and are usually adults by the time they realize, or someone finds them, or whatever. So you aren't entirely rare in that sense, at least. But it's still gotta be disorienting for you. I mean, hey, you have powers, then poof, new community, new rules, new society, centuries worth of new history. No one would fault you if you walked away and never came back. This is a lot to try to take in and process through. And you've lived your whole life pretty damn successfully without knowing any of it. You could go back to that life just as easily and smoothly, and nothing would change for you. And that's a choice most people would probably make, to be honest. Me? Yeah, I don't know. My folks are both magical, so this was just part of the fabric of my existence for as long as I can remember. But even if that weren't the case, I don't think that's a question anyone else can answer for you. That's something you have to decide for yourself. And even if you decide to take that leap, you don't have to do it here. Sarley Academy is one of the oldest and most established magical universities, but that doesn't mean it's automatically the best or the best fit for you. Each Anchorage city has its own university, and they all have their own distinct feel. There's no wrong answer to this. I know a lot of us are curious what you'll decide, but in the end, it can only be up to you. Yeah, but it's honest, which is the least anyone deserves in a situation like this. Do you want to wait here for a second and just sort of think it out, or do you want to keep going with the tour? Oh, this is only a tiny fraction. The campus isn't huge. We gotta be able to keep it hidden from non-magical society after all. But it's definitely bigger than 4 buildings and a gym. Alright, let's keep going then. That building with the dome on it right off there yeah, that one. That's the Helen Daly Educational Center. It's where a lot of your classes and educational instruction are. Yeah, go for it. You know, I don't know. Alumni just don't want to be forgotten, I guess. I mean, do any of us really? But they have the money and clout to make sure their name ends up on the side of a building. Most of us don't use their proper names anyway, well, apart from the Mercer and the Guess, but even then, that doesn't really count. The Robin Daly School of Behavioral Health Sciences is right there behind it. That big open space is the quad. The school's been known to set up sand volleyball courts on the ends of it during